Special event alert.
I was late because I was told to get donuts for being late, which is excuse number 65 for being late for changeover. Your weekly
boy.
space news and variety show. I'm your host, Marty Smith, and I'm with our man in the closet, Jake Wall.
It's good to be back, and I'm sorry I didn't bring donuts because I was late.
Freaking donut man, Mr.
You have to. You have
Obligation.
to. Yep.
And legendary Mr. History,
Woo!
Eric Perrott.
Yeah, man. Good to see you guys.
Yeah.
We're here to bring you the latest headlines and updates pertinent to all Guardians and to the other better dressed branches as well. So take your seats, get informed, and have a laugh as we present Late for Changeover.
Yep.
I like it.
Oh, crowd applause. Not recorded in front of a live studio audience.
Well, hey,
A lot of people here tonight.
they
A
got
lot
tickets.
of people.
Yeah, they got
A lot of
tickets.
people are here.
So
I do appreciate how the Marines are poured into that uniform. That is it.
you gotta work your ass off to get into that uniform.
Yeah.
But even it must be the uniform because there's a lot of fat asses in the Navy. But they all look good in the whites, right?
I have a theory about that Navy thing. So
It's called
there's
girdle.
there's a girdles for sure. But
Mm.
there's a specific group, like Navy either is fit,
Yeah.
or big.
Not good.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And-
yeah.
And every ship that you're on needs ballast.
Ah.
So
Stand over there.
Oh.
there's some weight requirements for a well-run ship.
Necessary weight
Yeah.
requirements.
It's like
Exactly.
the offensive line for the Navy ship.
Yeah.
Sure.
There's,
you couldn't
there's
have
not
a-
only a recruitment quota, as in the number of people. There's a recruitment quota, as in mass.
You couldn't have 1,165-pound dudes on a
No.
big ship, right? I mean, it'd be tossed about on the ocean all
It'd
over.
be
the place.
flying above those
Yeah.
waves.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
You
a good-
need ballast.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. And even in the enlisted whites, if you got a belly, you look okay.
The Cracker Jacks
Yeah.
look good.
Yeah, you look okay. You throw
Navy's
back to
got
World
some
War II
good-
and shit.
The
I'm
dungarees,
surely-
the Cracker Jacks, the
I'm
tans.
beginning to think the 80 listeners we have will not be Navy.
Well, the problem,
If they are, you fucking heifers chime in the damn comments.
they be like, "Hey, shit, I agree with you."
It's all
But-
about the ballast.
All
you
about the
could
balance.
you could be the most in shape, hardcore Space Force guy, and that
Mhm.
uniform will make you look terrible.
Yeah.
That
And-
Space Force uniform just it's
Horrific.
not even a good cosplay,
No.
It's just it's terrible. I can't believe they chose it. Anyway.
I blame Steve Carell. That's it. He probably copywrote
know.
all the legit.
I know. But they
Probably.
could have been truly innovative. Like I always say, they could have chosen a better song. They could have done something progressive, with the beats or something like that. And they could have
With the
just
beats.
could not. Well,
And
they
the
could have
shouting.
done they could have done, some kind of DJ kind of song.
Yeah.
I mean, who would have faulted them? They're like, oh, it's Space Force. They do this fucking progressive thing. I mean, like,
There's gotta
it's
be a
actually pretty
song-
cool, right?
That talks about the shaft instead of the tip of the spear.
Exactly.
Well,
The support
Point.
shaft.
We're the shaft, baby. The shaft.
yeah, you can't
Oh,
hold the
there's-
tip up without the shaft, right?
Can't hold it. with the
Exactly.
shaft. That's right.
The tip ain't going as freaking. There's no mission complete without the
They-
shaft pushing the tip.
They just couldn't help themselves with the uniform, and I was like, you
Yeah, it's
don't
terrible.
have to go back to Star Trek, any sci-fi movie. Just think of something yourself, just think of something.
Yeah.
They couldn't help it. They couldn't figure it
No.
out, right?
Terrible.
So anyway, speaking of space, Jake, you turned me onto it, and I went and listened to the whole thing. Did you listen to Joe Rogan with Elon Musk on it, Eric?
I did not.
It was interesting,
Yeah.
fascinating. But Jake turned me onto it, especially.
I saw clips of the interview though. They had them on TV and stuff.
Yeah,
in the news.
It was 3 hours long, so there was.
Oh shit!
Yeah, there was a lot of conversation, and they're all over the map as always. But
that's true.
But it was interesting to hear his side and his perspective of things.
I did like when Joe Rogan asked him about like UFOs, and he's like, "Do you believe in UFOs?" And Elon said a couple good things. He was like, "It's amazing how photography advancement has gone like this, but all the pictures of UFOs have kind of gone like this."
Yeah, it's worse.
Yeah.
It's worse.
Yeah.
And he did have that one statement where he said, "Look, we've got the most cutting edge space technology going in the world. And I can tell you, we can't do the stuff that they're talking about. There's no way." So, but Jake turned me on. He did bring up a Butch and Sonny. They did
Butch
talk
and
about
Sonny
Butch and
update.
Sonny. Yeah.
They're excited
That's
about coming
nice.
home. Let's go.
You want to see the part of it?
Yeah.
Hell yeah,
All
dude.
right. Here we go.
Are you still rescuing those people that are stuck in the space station?
Yeah, that's coming up in a couple weeks, I think.
Whoa. They've been up there for how long, Jamie? They were supposed to be there for a couple days, right?
I think actually for like 4 weeks. Oh, they're supposed to be there. They were supposed to be up there for like 8 days.
Yeah.
And they've been up there for like I think 8 months.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop this, so maybe that'll
100% Gilligan,
but
100% Gilligan Island, right?
oh yeah,
God.
Like
right.
Was it
Right.
3-hour tour?
Yeah,
They're
and it
still
turned
stuck
into
up
3
there?
years or whatever it was.
Well,
So, but
Elon Musk is a professor.
well, yeah, he would be right. He
dude,
could, who knows what he could make out of a set of coconuts.
So a little longer than expected.
Fuck.
Yeah.
What
It's
are they gonna
definitely
wreck those
not the
people when they get
record,
back?
though.
They're going to be a wreck for a long time, right?
Yeah, if the longer you stay up there, you get, sort of in zero G, you get increased bone loss. So, it ended up being like this political football.
Now, reminder: this is Elon's opinion.
Yeah.
However, it seems very founded in reality. So.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And sort of hotly contested topic. We offered to bring them back early. This offer was rejected by the Biden administration
Why?
for political reasons.
That's so.
That is.
And-
Oh,
and
man,
Sounds
that's
right.
true.
Sounds right.
To
Right.
be fair, I can understand where Biden's coming with this.
Sure.
They don't want Trump's team to have any win before elections.
Right.
They don't want anything. And there is no effing way Trump would let it go.
No.
Oh
If
no,
he had
he'd
it-
say it every
Oh,
day.
he's
could,
just
yeah.
grinding. Yeah. How's Butch and Sonny doing? They back up to weight? They
Oh.
good? Okay.
Guess who brought it back? Me.
Well,
Yeah.
I brought it back. It's all right.
But
My
I
leadership,
also,
my guidance.
it also makes me wonder how much Boeing was barking in the administration's ear. Like, if you let him bring it back, we're done. Right.
It had
So-
to be a piece of that. for
That's
sure.
exactly it, too.
right,
That's the
right.
thing that's disappointing.
Yeah, it makes you wonder. It does make you wonder.
So crazy.
There's no way that they're going to make anyone who's supporting Trump look good.
Yeah. Right.
Right on the nail.
What do you think they would
Yeah.
have done if they had won?
Well,
How would they get those people back?
No, they can only get them back with a SpaceX spacecraft, but they pushed the return date past
With
the
me.
Inauguration date.
Wow.
And he's right. He's right. Right.
So they
Because that contract with SpaceX and Boeing, and I think there was a third one, was to do travel up and back.
Yeah.
Right. They
Right.
were competing.
Yeah.
Actually, they weren't competing. They wanted variety of who to choose, which carrier,
Which
hey, you
makes
can do this
sense.
one, you can do this one, you can do this
Yeah.
one. So we're not limited. But
Yep.
Boeing, hell, they may get out of the space business after Starliner.
You know what? They're lucky. Neither of them one died. I mean, those two.
Oh,
what if
God,
something
you're
had
right.
happened?
Good
If someone
point.
had passed away, man,
Oh, my
holy
God.
shit,
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
it would have been crazy.
right.
Yeah.
It's only a little bit left.
would have let you do it, but after the
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, he's right.
And so it would have
Wow.
been them authorizing you.
Well, there
to
isn't
do
anyone
it.
else to do it.
Right.
NASA can't get them.
Yeah, nobody could go up there and get him at
only,
that point.
The,
Yeah.
only the SpaceX Dragon spacecraft is the only one that is considered safe enough to bring them back. So the NASA concluded that the Boeing
Right.
spacecraft was not safe. So that's why they're stuck there.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
And you can't ask Russia to help.
that would be awkward.
A little bit.
Yeah, there's
Be a
no
nice thing
way.
if they did. This is
That
So,
would be awesome.
But that's the thing. Like they were, to be fair, Boeing was testing an experimental thing.
Right.
They were trying to develop their own stuff,
Right.
and for multiple sources to get stuff up there. So that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
That would be cool. However, I mean, with their failure, and we covered this a while ago,
Yes, we did.
saying
Months ago.
SpaceX offered to send up a
Yeah.
shuttle or a Dragon crew.
We had no explanation why they wouldn't let him back there.
exactly because they were like, "We'll send it up with 2 empty seats. That's fine."
Yeah, yeah.
And then it was some bullshit like their air suits aren't compatible.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
or
suits
something
were
like that, and we're like,
compatible. It throws the
that's bull-
rotation off.
Yeah,
It
we
was
were
a
like, "That's
bunch of
bullshit."
goofy
Because
reasons,
okay,
yeah.
put 2
Yeah.
extra suits. You got
Yeah.
all their
Yeah.
dimensions.
Yep.
You know, it's not like it's a custom
They can
tailored.
figure
they
out the
lost
baggy
shit
suit.
tons of weight.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. They
Fun
can
playing
figure
game.
that out, but now maybe that's a little bit more revealing as to why. So it
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense. And it makes sense.
Yeah.
But he's right, as cocky as that sounded. There's no other carrier right now who's carrying
go get
people
him.
up to the ISS.
Yeah, there's nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, except him.
Yeah.
Except for him. So
So
yeah, thanks for turning me on to that. That was a pretty fascinating interview. So
I guarantee Butch is very hopeful. He's happy that they're ready to come get him, man. Him and her.
well,
Oh,
and
shit.
Elon even copped to that. He said they won't say anything. They'll be professional about it. They'll be
Oh, yeah, they're not
told
gonna
not
say
to say
anything.
anything against Boeing, right?
and even if they do, what are they gonna? They're gonna hit the mute button. Boop.
Yeah, and they're going to
Right,
disown
right.
them. So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, but still, 8 days to 8 months. That's
It's crazy.
I mean, how many interim travel vouchers have they had to file? That's a lot, right? Like,
Are they requesting cash advance? They're like, again,
Oh,
these
God,
guys.
yeah,
What are
dude.
they using their money on?
Spending
Yeah.
it so fast up here.
fucking tax-free, bitches.
So yeah, if you get a
The
chance, go out
family SEP is racking it in.
It's for those new Velcro love seats they got
Hell
up there
yeah.
for your partners.
But even after 8 months, you got to be bored of that. You got to be like,
Oh,
God, just let me get back to Pornhub.
Sonny's got a pile of shit on her front porch. Amazon pile of stuff on the front.
It's like that hair was pretty cool at first,
Oh,
but now
man.
it's just annoying. Now it's really
She's just
annoying.
like, all right, I want a full-on shower at one point. These baby wipes ain't cutting it.
Oh,
Right? Think about that. You're like 8 days. That's all I got to do. Fine, good. 8 days.
All right, whose mic is clicking out there? Somebody's mic is making sound. Can you hear that, or is that just me?
No,
it's
I
just
heard
you.
it
I
too.
can't hear it. I
Oh,
can't
I
hear it.
heard it. All right. You.
So it's got to be me again.
No,
Oh,
Eric's fault
Probably. Yeah,
again.
it probably is. God
There
knows
we
what
go.
you're doing down there in the basement. So,
Yeah.
I'm
all
hiding.
right. Well, let's
Yeah.
get to the news. Let's get to the news here.
Oh,
From space.com. So I didn't even know this was happening. This is why we provide a service here. So
this is what we're doing.
it is. I didn't even know this happened, but from space.com, private Blue Ghost moon lander aces historic lunar landing for NASA. Did you know
about
they
that?
sent up a lunar lander? They sent up 2 lunar landers.
Oh,
I can't believe they didn't notify us first. So we
And
had,
those
guess
sneaky
who's
devils.
who sent them up? SpaceX,
of course,
right?
Elon.
I think it was SpaceX. Maybe I screwed that up. Maybe it wasn't. We'll get to it. Firefly Aerospace's Blue Ghost moon lander just etched its name into the history books. Here, as I talk about it, I'll show it to you. There you go.
Hey,
Blue Ghost aced its touchdown try early the morning of March 2nd, becoming just the second private spacecraft ever to soft land on the moon. The lander hauled 10 science experiments to the lunar surface for NASA. Nikki Fox, Associate Administrator for NASA's Science Mission Directorate, said during the landing webcast, we're on the moon. I'm sorry. I'm just so excited right now. And when I heard that, it reminded me of this.
We're going to the moon.
No way.
I could get.
That's classic. That's classic.
Blue Ghost, which is about 6.6 feet tall by 11.5 feet wide, is Firefly's first ever moon lander. Firefly also leveraged a blend of youthful exuberance and long-term spaceflight know-how to develop Blue Ghost. Ray Allensworth, Firefly spacecraft program director, said young adults right out of college or in the first 5 years of their career really partnered up with people who have closer to 30 years experience in the industry. So they brought the young guys on, paid them bupkis.
Go get me a cup of coffee and come back.
Yeah, they're
Mildly paid interns. But I mean, that's what you need. Like those
You
guys,
do.
the other
Yeah.
guys are so stagnant that some
Sure.
new
Well,
kid
and
is
they're-
like, what if we do this? We're like, you know what?
Like,
All
That
right.
works. Yeah.
it could be. It could be that back and forth does actually generate a lot of
Yeah.
good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
In February 2021, Firefly scored a $93 million contract with NASA's Commercial Lunar Payload Services program, which books rides for agency science gear on private moon landers. Blue Ghost is carrying 10 NASA payloads on its current mission. These instruments are designed to do a variety of work, from studying radiation levels at the landing site to testing out new and better ways to collect and store samples of moon dirt and rock. Remember, we used to joke about the experiments that they were sending.
Yeah,
over?
grab some rock, get some
Yeah,
dirt.
we'll get some rock and dirt. How much moon rock and dirt do they need? Right,
All of it. All
they've
of
got to figure it out right
Yeah.
by now.
Yeah.
Blue Ghost launched a Top A SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket on January 15th, along with another private lunar lander, Resilience, which is built and operated by Tokyo-based company iSpace. So it carried two landers. I was trying to find out about the Tokyo one. I think it tried to land, but it couldn't. It just orbited. So I'm not really sure.
it. Nice.
The solar-powered Blue Ghost will now operate for about 14 Earth days on the lunar surface. So,
More dirt, more rocks.
yeah, we
Is
got
it
that.
staying there or is it coming back? Do we know?
I think it's staying there. I think it's just more space junk on the moon. You know?
Yeah. We did it. Look what we did.
But it didn't say, I mean, they're doing experiments. So that's a good point, because they didn't talk about, I don't know if it's got thrusters. It's not very big. 7
it
feet
didn't look
by
very
11
big, yeah.
feet. If you have motors or if you have engines to get it back up in a lunar orbit, hell, that's like most of that spacecraft, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe I should research that.
Stop
Sorry,
asking.
I'm sorry to
detailed
scratch.
questions.
I know. I'm sorry to scratch.
Yeah, way to go, Jake. Broke your own rule.
I know.
So that's
I'm out of practice.
That's one of our space stories. We got a couple of them today. So
Okay. All
that's
right.
one. But first, you know how the military academies compete with each other all the time: football, baseball, basketball, academics,
stuff.
that kind of thing.
Chair
Well,
force.
We
Cranks.
inadvertently have two competing military academies against each other
Nice.
for bad stories.
Oh,
Even
So-
better.
yeah.
there we go.
The first one from stripes.com. All right.
Oh,
Air Force Academy discovers widespread cheating.
Not just
Yeah.
a little bit, but widespread.
It sometimes it strikes me as like, we know there's cheating. We just actually caught these guys. So anyway,
Right.
and this one's kind of weak. It almost sounds like a survey kind of thing. And that would suck if like, hey, do you want to fill this survey out about cheating? It's like, sure. It was like, have you
Got
ever
him.
cheated? Yes. They're like, got him. Well, that was easy.
Yeah.
Almost 100 Air Force Academy cadets have admitted to cheating or tolerating it during a weekly knowledge test typically required for freshmen. That tolerating one, that's a tough one, right? You knew that guy was cheating next to you, didn't you? And it was like, I guess. And they're like, well, you let it happen. I was like, well, I didn't mean to, but
Yeah. I'm not a rat.
I'm
Well,
not a rat, but
you're a
you've
rat.
been kicked out for letting it happen.
You should be.
Damn it! I guess I should have been.
There's no integrity in the Air Force Academy anymore.
Well,
gone.
not for these 100. Now, don't besmirch the rest of the 900 cadets in that
We're
class.
grouping them all into one group.
All of them are cheating bastards. Every last
Come
one.
All of
on.
It is every what, 6-7 years? We
Yeah,
have
they
find
come
a
up
group?
with something like
a
that.
cheating
Right.
incident.
Yep.
Right.
Some kind of
I mean,
scoundrel.
and then you're right, Marty. That freaking did you know about it? Did
That's
you
a
do
tough
anything
one,
about it?
man. I know. That's why I always say is like if you're going to do something, don't tell me about it. Don't let me witness it.
I don't want to
because
see it.
I'm going to get sucked into your shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know. Cheating is specifically prohibited by the Academy's honor code, which states, quote, we will not lie, steal, or cheat, nor tolerate among us anyone who does.
So
Right there on the gates.
now, were you aware of the cheating? Now that I've said that, were you aware of the cheating?
Well, I didn't know. I wouldn't tolerate that anyway. It's like,
No.
can I go? The cadets who admitted to cheating have received punitive sanctions and rehabilitation actions, according to a Thursday news release. Punitive sanctions can include restriction of base, removal from sports teams, and loss of leadership roles, among other punishments, according to the Honor Code Handbook. In an email, Superintendent Tony Bauernfiend. God, why do I always get the names that I don't pronounce?
I love it.
Said he appreciated the leadership of cadet honor officers to address the violations, but the behavior was concerning. The Academy is continuing to investigate and will hold any other cadets involved accountable, the release said. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the Academy suspected about 250 cadets had cheated when they were sent home to study remotely.
There you go.
Was that 2020?
2021.
Oh, I was off by a year.
So
Damn.
see, 4
Like
years. Yeah,
4 or
just
5
about.
years.
Yeah, 4 or 5
6
years.
years.
Get a bad batch, man. Get
All
a bad
right,
batch.
so Air Force Academy has thrown down the gauntlet. Can West Point match it?
Yeah.
And I say, yes, they can.
We throw it down with
Because-
100 cheaters.
Oh, we've got one guy who can
What do you got,
give them
West
a
Point?
run for their money. From military.com or militarytimes.com, West Point Colonel faces misconduct charges for the third time.
And he's still a colonel? Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Come on.
A West Point colonel will be arraigned again for misconduct charges similar to ones that were dropped twice before. Right?
Sexual assault on a young female cadet.
No,
Right?
not yet. Not yet. Didn't get to that point. Colonel William Wright previously faced charges in 2024 over allegations that he drank with a cadet, tampered with witnesses, and falsified information according to court documents.
Ooh.
Now, Wright is charged with violating the Army's trainer-trainee policy, interfering with an adverse administrative proceeding, and making a false official statement. Wright, who served as director of the Academy's Geospatial Information Science Program, was arraigned previously on December 2nd, 2024 for 3 counts of failure to obey an order or regulation, 2 counts of making false official statements, and 3 counts of wrongful interference with an adverse administrative proceeding. He pleaded not guilty and requested a jury trial that was set to begin in January 6th of this year, but the charges were dropped on January 2nd. So he skated by that one. But Wright was first arraigned in just June of 2024 on charges that included 9 allegations of making inappropriate sexual remarks. Fair enough. We would have been arraigned on that too, right? Providing and drinking alcohol with a cadet. Endeavoring to influence testimonies and wrongfully contacting a cadet on the Academy's women's tennis team.
Ooh, tennis babes.
Those charges were dropped in October. Tennis babes. Good one, Eric. Now, Wright allegedly communicated with a cadet he was specifically told not to, and as a result of his alleged disobedience, he was reassigned to a role in the academy where his contact with cadets was cut off.
Ooh,
No
so
more cadets
scary.
for you, Colonel.
So scary.
Court documents also show that a year before that, in 2023, Wright allegedly provided alcohol to a cadet and drank with them in Hawaii, then allegedly did it again several days later in Alaska.
This guy.
A serial
Here's
cadet
the
party.
thing, though, like those cadets, if he's providing alcohol, then are those cadets underage?
I don't know. That's a good point.
Or is he just bringing the alcohol to the party?
I don't think they were underage. Otherwise, it seems like
Okay,
that
like,
would have
sorry,
been one
sorry.
of the charges.
Added
Underage is in under 21.
Mhm.
Yeah, but
I
even
don't think
so,
so.
I think they would have been over 21, like Marty
Okay.
said. That would have been an additional charge.
I think it was the
providing
fact that
alcohol to a minor.
they were cadets and he was not.
Yeah.
And
That
it,
makes-
it seems like there could be worse things to be charged with. Like, oh, he drugged this girl or he drugged this cadet. He's just giving the cadets a good time in
And that's
Hawaii,
why-
in
that's why he keeps getting
Alaska,
off.
in West Point.
That's why he keeps getting off. We're going to reprimand you, and then you get to play some more.
Well, he's
Maybe.
getting off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. I don't know
Ridiculous.
what the winner is, Air Force Academy or West Point, but they're going to keep battling. They're going to keep
West Point.
throwing stories at each other. You know. So we'll wait 6 months and then we'll get a whole new batch. of
So,
stories.
does a full bird colonel equate to 100 cadets at the Air Force Academy?
I
Ooh,
mean,
that's a good point. But get that
it-
full bird colonel at West Point with the cadets at the Air Force Academy, and they'd be drunk
they're having a
cheaters
blast.
all over the place.
Yeah.
man.
We wouldn't have an academy graduating class that
Yeah,
year.
the
It'd be all
best
done.
time.
you would think after the first time of providing alcohol to cadets, you'd be like, and you get spanked for it.
Hey, Colonel, knock
Okay,
that
come
shit
on,
off,
man.
man. You're like,
know what?
Pshaw, it's just a couple drinks.
You guys are such prudes. Round 2, boys and girls.
Come on in. Let's
Get
get
the
this
tennis
party
team
started.
down here.
You guys, Academy, Air Force Academy, come on over. Come on, let me buy you
Party
around.
with us.
Let me buy you around.
I'm not buying you around, you pussies. Get out of here.
Don't worry about that final in the morning. I got the cheating answers
Yeah,
right
Don't
here.
worry,
baby.
don't worry. You guys
I
have
got you,
already
baby.
passed. You don't even
I
need to
got
study.
you.
Come out and drink with me. I would be hard pressed to turn that down. I'd be like, oh, great.
Ooh.
Okay, let's go. Hey, he's a colonel. Hey, he knows.
Then you'd have to turn it. He ordered me to come.
Yeah,
He
that's a tough one.
ordered me to come.
Highly suggested.
Yeah.
Yes.
You never know who's going to be pissed off at the end of that night, right? You never know who's going to be pissed off about that. So,
Or if you're R. Kelly, pissed off.
Ooh. Wow.
well, with the good news we have, I almost feel like we should cancel this, but it seems important.
Oh, let's
Right?
cancel it.
Okay, let's step.
No,
let's-
I'm just kidding. Let's bring it down.
Oh.
Let's bring it down.
All right, let's bring it down a notch. All right, this next story is frustrating, but it's interesting to examine. It's what is that for? Like, don't civilian cops have something that they can't be sued? What was that? That it made the news a couple years ago, right?
Can't
White
be
privilege.
sued. White
What
privilege.
was it? What?
Got him.
That was it. That was it.
Thin blue line, you pussies.
White privilege, baby.
Face them again, boys.
I don't think there was
There's-
anything ever.
There's something that like cops can't be sued for injuries or something like that happens to victims. There's some protection. I can't remember what it is. But this sounds very similar, right?
Okay. Well, there's always going to be an investigation if there's a shooting.
Right.
you know, those kinds of
Yeah,
things.
but they can't get like personally sued by a plaintiff or a victim or something like that.
For a mild bludgeoning.
I think the department takes care of you, supposedly, right?
Yes, there's some protection. Anyway,
Okay.
we're off. This one is
Yeah.
this story is from Task and Purpose, and The Supreme Court refuses again to review whether military members can sue for malpractice. All right. So the Supreme Court once again refused to hear a case challenging the 75-year-old rule that service members may not sue the government for service-related harm, including when military doctors commit malpractice.
Yeah.
The court rejected the case brought by a Maryland Air National Guardsman who was paralyzed in April 2018 by a botched back surgery at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center in Bethesda, Maryland. Staff Sergeant Ryan G. Carter, a dual status guardsman who was in inactive status. Now that I kind of wish Anna was here for that thing, because inactive status is way gray to me. That's really weird about trying to get stuff done, right? But he was in inactive status when he was operated on, sought to get the court to reconsider the so-called Ferris Doctrine, a court ruling on the Federal Tort Claims Act, which governs how U.S. citizens can sue the government for negligence or wrongdoing. The Ferris Doctrine basically is a U.S. Supreme Court ruling that prevents active military members from suing the federal government for injuries sustained while on duty. The doctrine was established in the 1950 case Ferris versus the United States. Furthermore, the Ferris Doctrine effectively bars service members from collecting damages from the U.S. government for personal injuries experienced in the performance of their duties. It also bars families of service members from filing wrongful death or loss of consortium actions when a service member is killed or injured.
So this falls under that last case that we talked about with the guy that was prescribed 7 different drugs. Remember the last one we talked
Basically,
about?
yeah.
Same kind of thing, right? So
Shout
he
out to
couldn't
Josh
sue them.
Respecty and his stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Hey, here's the thing. He was on inactive status, right? So
when he had the surgery.
So he wasn't on orders and he wasn't on active status.
So
Correct.
it makes you a
So
civilian.
the Ferris Doctrine doesn't
Should
fucking
apply.
apply in
No,
the way
it doesn't.
you said it.
But they were saying his injuries were the result of his service. So that's how they're. It's very complicated. But I just wanted to.
Such a double standard. Like,
Yeah.
here's
I
the
agree.
thing,
Right,
right, Marty? Like if you got in that same motorcycle accident and
Yeah.
you weren't on TR or AGR
Sure, let's
orders,
say I was off orders. Yeah,
the military
Nothing.
wouldn't have done anything for you.
nothing. Yeah,
Nothing.
Right,
Like
right.
you would have gotten no VA disability eventually. You would have even gotten no medical clearance, no medical assistance
right.
from the active duty
No.
side. You would have had to file everything through
Would
TRICARE.
have been all on mine. Yeah,
All
yeah.
on yours, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's because you were on inactive status. You weren't active.
Correct. And that's why
So-
they're always careful.
So this
with
is a
reservists
bullshit
and stuff.
double standard
Double
where
standard.
Yeah,
if you get injured and you're not on active status, they're not touching you at all.
kind of.
However,
Right,
if
right.
you're not on active status
And we
and
jack
get
you up.
injured by a military member, you still
Sure.
can't come at us.
Well, let's say you're
That's horseshit.
you're pulling guard mount as a reservist, and or
Yeah.
you're doing maintenance as a reservist. You jack your back up.
Yep.
On the time that you're in status, right? You go off, and you get assessed, and you're like, "Hey, you need to have surgery on this."
Civilian
I don't know
doctor,
how. I don't know
when
how
you're
he
off
got a
status.
military doctor to do service on him when he was not
Yeah,
not
when
in
I was
status.
active.
We,
That's curious too.
as reservists, we had to put people on orders sometimes
Just to go to the doctor.
just to go to the
Correct.
doctor.
Right. I agree. And so that was always a weird one. So, but it was more about how the Ferris Doctrine and the Supreme Court won't really hear arguments against it. Right.
Well,
So the Supreme Court rejected Carter's case without an opinion. Justice Clarence Thomas wrote a dissent of the decision by the court to not consider Carter's case. Thomas is a longtime critic of the Ferris Doctrine, which he said he considers to be a mistake by the court. Justice Thomas says courts arbitrarily deprive injured service members and their families of a remedy that Congress provided them. As I have said before, we should fix a mess that we have made, is what Justice Thomas said.
Does the Ferris Doctrine apply to all them guys in Congress? Oh, no, it doesn't, does it?
Right. Thomas said in his opinion that the Supreme Court had never articulated a coherent justification And as a result, the lower courts have inconsistently applied the Ferris Doctrine. Justice Thomas noted cases that sought to sue the government over a wide range of topics, including sexual assault by another soldier, injuries from recreational activities with military-owned equipment, or exposure to toxic chemicals on a military base were considered part of military service. Others tried to assess whether service member children can sue for injuries sustained in utero from negligent prenatal care, or if the doctrine extends to dual status technicians like Sergeant Carter, who are both civilian employees and in the military reserves. So there's a lot of problems with this thing.
Well, especially if you're impacting the civilian job, right? Where this guy can't go back to work.
He got injured militarily. Yeah, right. Yeah. You can't claim workers' comp.
Yeah,
your military or your civilian.
Can you imagine that if he was in? So he might be an art as a civilian.
Oh God,
right?
Yeah, right.
He could be an art technician.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
As a military status, he's not active military, but he's working for the military.
Yeah,
and now he's not employable by them anymore.
It almost seems that the military's answer to issues like this is to go, "Oh, we'll just give you 100% disabled, and we'll buy you off."
We're going to look at it.
Yeah,
we'll see it.
This last one is Lauren Palladini.
Here's the crazy thing: is that dude is paralyzed.
Essentially, yeah.
He's not like
right.
Yeah,
and that doctrine prevents him from any kind of recoupment. Right.
Nothing.
And he's paralyzed because of what the military docs did. Okay, cut off the wrong leg. Is like shit. Can't sue over that.
That's crazy.
But we'll make you 100% disabled. That's
can't
the payment.
Walk. You're fucking.
Lauren Palladini, whose case was also added to Sergeant Carter's when it went up to the Supreme Court. She was an 82nd Airborne Division soldier who survived a botched cesarean section at Womack Army Medical Center at Fort Bragg, North Carolina in 2019. Her case was included in the petition. Palladini told Task and Purpose that pursuing malpractice claims through the administrative process has cost her tens of thousands of dollars in legal and expert fees.
Crazy.
She said, it's not working. It's not going to work. The same institution that has committed the malpractice is the same institution who gets to be the judge and the jury over that malpractice.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you're stuck. They got it. And because the court won't hear it, they won't even hear arguments on it.
That's what's crap too. Is the court just was like, yeah, we're not hearing that.
Yeah. Out of our purview.
But it's not. It shouldn't be.
They just hand waved that whole thing away.
I don't know.
Well, and again, this goes back to what we talked about on a number of cases back where we said, okay, look, you guys get to go play in that fucking fire foam. Have fun. Oh,
yeah. Forgot about that one. Right.
Yeah, you got water at fucking Marine Corps station, whatever, that's killing people. I mean, causing cancer. I mean, it's crazy how many times the military have hurt people.
Yeah,
and aren't held accountable.
And that's that whole, especially years later thing.
Right?
Yeah.
The cops at the nuclear sites who weren't even in the nuclear stuff.
Yeah,
but are now getting cancer.
Yeah,
but they can't claim it.
Right.
It's just you're right. You're right. Any wonder why we can't sign these guys up?
Well, and then you look at us three and you go, "Wow, I wonder how us three came out unscathed."
Relatively unscathed,
or did we? Right? Yeah. We're waiting for something. I don't know.
We're waiting.
Yeah,
my left nipple's falling off. It's hanging on by a thread right now, man.
Gotcha. Sew that thing on, man.
Yeah,
that's probably 10% reserved. You might not. Yeah, we'll note it, but we're not going to pay you for it.
They're like, that's not service connected.
Yeah, we don't cut off nipples all that often. But
see, now I'm starting to understand why they took $175 back.
Here's the thing, though. Like we've been saying stuff like this left and right, and yet they or people call up the guy scamming like he doesn't deserve 100%.
Right.
I'm of the mindset, fucking get whatever you can because they're gonna fuck you out of it some way, somehow.
Yeah, they're going
I'm
to
like,
get.
I'm not saying fake
right.
shit. I'm not saying that. Don't
No, and we have
falsify
talked about
documents,
that too, and we
but
talked about the
definitely
guys
get
who
what
just,
you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you twisted your ankle, I mean, in the course of doing your duties,
Go for
it seems counterintuitive, but at the same time, when that ankle gets arthritic, or gets
on the sole purpose of
hard to walk on.
Yeah.
And you signed up and took the chance. Now you may not have been called to combat, but you were going to go if they called you.
Ready to go.
Yeah, you were ready to sacrifice all that.
That's right.
Those who did, they deserve more than 100% disabled. But even if you were preparing to go and you never went, you're still giving of your body to the government.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I bet you these guys, they're actually just going to probably pawn him off on the civilian sector and be like, "Yay, he gets civilian disability."
Sure.
I'm like,
they are insurance adjusters, right? And they will deny if they can deny. So
yeah.
And now they got because the Supreme Court won't hear anything about the Ferris Doctrine. That's a big backer.
Yeah.
Can't sue us. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Nice.
Well, let's turn those frowns upside down, shall we?
Hell yeah.
Let's go out on a space good note.
Oh,
right.
Is it really such a thing?
Yeah. This one is from MSN.com. The next Blue Origin flight will be a historic all-woman space flight to include Katy Perry and Lauren Sanchez. Right? You might not know who Lauren Sanchez is by name, but you will definitely know her when you see her picture. So, Blue Origin, right? You familiar, Eric? Are you familiar with Blue Origin?
I am familiar with Blue Origin.
They're doing suborbital flights, right? They're the ones who flew James
Captain
T.
Kirk.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Blue Origin says its next space flight is set to make history with celebrities such as Katy Perry, Lauren Sanchez, and Gayle King on board. The all-woman crew will fly into space when the New Shepard spacecraft launches from the West Texas desert this spring. The company says it's the first all-woman flight since the Soviet Union's Valentina Tereshkova Valentina Tereshkova solo space flight in 1963. Now, I think that's quite a reach, and shame on them for trying to compare a crew with Katy Perry on it,
who has no knowledge,
a Soviet solo where she actually piloted the craft as the first woman in space.
There's a difference there.
Yeah, there's a big difference there, right? But okay, we'll roll with it.
Katy Perry's got a photo op written all over her head for this. That's
yeah. I don't think Valentina Cosmonaut was worried about selfies up there. So the flight comes as Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin continues to become a major player in the commercial space industry. Debatable. Competing with the likes of Elon Musk, SpaceX for NASA's business, as well as the business of other private companies. So what is the New Shepard spacecraft? The New Shepard spacecraft was named after astronaut Alan Shepard, the first American in space. New Shepard is Blue Origin's fully reusable suborbital rocket system. Now, it hasn't been anywhere past suborbital, I don't think, not even for very long. But this mission will be the 11th human flight for the New Shepard program and the 31st in its history. To date, the program has flown 52 people above the Kármán line. What's the Kármán line? I know you're asking, Eric.
Please tell me what the Kármán line is.
The Kármán line is the international recognized boundary of space, experiencing several minutes of weightlessness and witnessing views of Earth through windows that take up more than 1/3 of this capsule's surface area. I can't remember the altitude. Jake, do you remember the altitude of the Kármán line? It's like 10 miles or something like that?
No, yeah.
Anyway, it's 11 minutes that they'll be on this journey.
Take my Velcro sex toy with me.
Well, I'm about to show you something here. But who's going to be on this flight? Aisha Bo, Bo is a former NASA rocket scientist, entrepreneur, and global STEM advocate. Keep in mind, these women aren't chosen for merit. They're chosen on how much they paid for this flight. All right.
Okay.
Nice.
This Aisha Bo is CEO of STEMbound and founder of Lingo. All right. Amanda Nguyen. Nguyen is a bioastronautics research scientist. And she said that as the first Vietnamese woman to go to space, I'm flying for Vietnamese girls to see themselves in space.
Nice.
Okay.
Smart lady. Sounds smart.
Nguyen is also an MIT graduate and then
Sure.
Harvard aerophysics lady.
Very cool.
So she's not playing around. Like she's
a brainiac.
True.
Yeah, these three, Flynn, Bo, and Nguyen are pretty like.
That's true. Yeah, and we'll jump down
pretty
to
up there.
Carrie Ann Flynn. Flynn has spent the past decade focused on nonprofit work and film production. In 2024, she produced the film Lily, which portrays the journey of Lily Ledbetter, the American activist whose Supreme Court case led to the passing of the Lily Ledbetter Fair Play Act in 2009. So she's okay. All right. She's not a brainiac, but Bo and Nguyen are definitely. Next is Gail King. King is a journalist, co-host of CBS Mornings, editor-at-large of Oprah Daily, and the host of Gail King in the House on Sirius XM Radio.
Report.
Next is Katy Perry.
Sing you a song.
I'm not even going to read her bio. You know who Katy Perry is.
Oh, we
right?
know who Katy Perry is.
And then finally is Lauren Sanchez, who is the fiance of Bezos.
Bezos.
Right?
Bezos' girlfriend.
So here is the video of them going on the flight. Hold all comments to the end. Katy Perry.
Looked like she was wearing her spacesuit.
Look
I
at
know.
her face.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Jeffrey, you sly fox, you.
Whoa.
They spent a lot of time on Lauren Sanchez there, but
Yeah. Space flight's 11 minutes.
11 minutes.
Yeah.
And there's Valentina Tereshkova.
I'm not sure we should compare.
So
yeah, that was a kind of
definite,
a cheap one, right?
I mean, I know we're all thinking that Lauren's just getting a ride because she's dating the boy, dating the guy, right? But there is some positive effects that scientifically that will come out of Lauren.
Yeah, it encourages men to watch.
Well, there is an encouragement, but there's also the ability to measure the scientific effects of anti-gravity on a shit ton of a plastic product in somebody. Like
half the crew, when they go into weightlessness,
their faces are going to dissolve.
$10.99 for that video just to see that weightlessness on Katy Perry, Lauren Sanchez.
Lauren Sanchez, if it's not her face that's half plastic, it's definitely other things that are. So
okay, let's role play real quick.
Here we go.
Jake, you are a Blue Origin spacesuit designer.
Yeah.
Ooh. All right, and I'm coming to you like, hey, Jake, I know, a couple flights ago we had you design a spacesuit for William Shatner. I know that wasn't exciting for you, but wait till you see who we have coming in. Katy Perry, Lauren Sanchez.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll give you creative license on what you want to do with those spacesuits there. So.
Yeah, with Lauren, we're going to design something special. All right. We're going to have
cutouts, maybe? Cutouts is
there's going to be. It's going to have full coverage, just like every other spacesuit.
Of course,
however, there is going to be a mesh aspect to this one.
Creativity.
We're gonna test the tensile strength of some of our new mesh fabrics, and the internal and external forces in a zero-G gravity environment. Yeah,
well, there's also another consideration. I think the time of day, they're going to be right into the sun. So it's probably going to get hot. Will they have a way to
ventilate,
to regulate their internal body temperature with these suits?
Mostly just zipping through the zipper. The zipper will be the one.
That's a good idea. That's a good
idea. And I think honestly we'll have to deal with some outgassing.
Sure, yeah, of course, right.
And some glint.
A single
off the
vertical
sweaty regions.
zipper, a single vertical zipper might not be enough. Is there any way that you can get kind of a pocket, like extra vent zipper on the chest area, or something like that? Just consider.
We'll think about that. Yeah, sure. We'll have to do some research.
Jake, I also have to ask: are we talking about pastel colors? Or are we going to have one solid color?
That's true. It doesn't have to be silver.
I think we're going to take inspiration from what Katie was wearing.
Very nice.
Go with that reflective fish scale silver. Now there is going to be some reflective issues and some sun coming through the open hatches, reflecting off heat, radiating in the area.
We'll have to have some sunglasses, the little visor thing going on.
I think as part of the ground crew, there will be a random amount of zooming in just to make sure.
Health and welfare. Health and welfare. Right?
Just to verify.
Yeah. Checks.
Dude.
Oh my God. There's a lot of breasts going up on the Blue Origin.
Yeah.
That's a lot of breasts.
Yeah. Lauren, like half her face looks Botoxed or plasticky. I'm wondering about the effects of zero-G on that.
Oh, yeah. That's when they have when the models do like the videos and they're parachuting like in tandem or something like that, and you all think, they're doing it naked, and you're like, that never comes out well.
No.
That never looks great. Either that or the inversion piece, and you're like, that's not good.
Not good.
Not
good.
Right.
I'm honestly curious about what effects like zero-G has on the human body in that kind of situation.
On plastic surgery. That's a good point. Yeah, that's right.
I wonder if any previous astronauts have had any like prosthetic knees.
There's got to be
anything like that
study that was done for sure.
Even though they're going suborbital, they're still pulling a certain amount of G's, right?
Oh yeah,
they got to, right? Yeah. They got to go to that.
Oh yeah, just to get up there.
Oh man, that could be tragically terrible.
What kind of speed do you think they'll reach? It's got to be freaking pretty fast.
They got to break Earth's gravity, or at least to go up and back.
So they're definitely pulling G's, man.
Yeah. Oh God. Maybe I don't want to watch it. Maybe I'll stick to Barbarella.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, Eric, what do you got for history for today?
So this is cool. The other day I was watching this World War II documentary. It's on Netflix. And they were talking about the Far East and how the Japan was spreading in to Borneo and Indonesia, and they were in control of it. So the next island was Australia, and Australia was responsible for a lot of supplies for troops. And so they were trying to keep Japan off of mainland Australia.
Sure.
So the Battle of the Bismarck Sea.
Whoa.
March 2nd through the 4th. Was a huge turnaround battle. It was pivotal for keeping the Japanese army out of Australia.
Bismarck Sea. Okay.
Yeah. See, I'd never heard of it. So the Battle of the Bismarck Sea was a pivotal battle fought between March 2nd, March 4th, 1943 in the Southwest Pacific area. Allied aircraft from the U.S. 5th Air Force and the Royal Australian Air Force attacked a convoy of Japanese ships transporting troop reinforcements to Lae, New Guinea. New Guinea was the island right outside of Australia. Australia was next.
Right.
The Allies destroyed most of the convoy, and Japan suffered heavy losses abandoning their plan to land more troops at Leh.
That was it. That's all it took them, and they were like, enough.
4 days. Well, I think we brought on the force that just said,
whoa, really?
We're freaking hammering him. Yeah. So the battle it's really big, but the gist is they occupied Leh, New Guinea. They were moving through there. The Australians,
they were infiltrating down through that, right? Yeah.
They were losing the foothold through that wooded area, right? Yeah. Even remember Baba Black Sheep, the battle.
Yeah, always heard about New Guinea. Yeah,
and Rabaul. So that's where the Japanese were at. So Australia said, we got to do something. We got to stop them from hitting the mainland, or they're going to interrupt our supply chain going.
Wow,
so this thing was a huge pivotal battle. So if you get a chance to look at the details, take a look at that thing, man. First time I'd ever heard of it, but I was watching the documentary. I said, I've never even heard of any of the battles that occurred. So I started looking, and this one popped up. I was like, wow, that's perfect.
What year was that?
1943.
Oh, man.
2nd through the 4th of March. Pretty cool, man.
Wow, you are getting really good at this.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I like it.
Cool.
But yeah, that's the only reason I know about New Guinea. God, what was it? The slot? That was all from Baba Black Sheep.
Baba, and the bridge over River Kwai. Remember that one?
Sure. I was like, I don't know what they're talking about, but yeah, awesome. This sounds good. So
awesome.
Hey, Boyington. I always like the Japanese guy. When
rice ball. Rice ball.
Him rice ball.
That was awesome.
I see, Jake, you missed out on all those late 60s, early 70s.
I know, I'm
reruns,
sorry.
Right? Yeah,
I missed it.
Baba Black Sheep. Robert
Have
Conrad.
you never seen Baba Black Sheep? Oh,
No.
dude, you got to check that out.
I've seen Bridge over the River Kwai.
Yeah. Baba Black Sheep, based on a true major.
Well, Pappy Boyington. Yeah,
Pappy who really made a bunch of freaking screw-offs in the Marine Corps into a cohesive.
Well, and he was a screw-off. He was almost out because he was a drunk too. Yeah.
Isn't it interesting how in wartime there was that one team, there was multiple teams in World War II that were behind enemy lines and like written off as just total fuck ups. They're like, nah, whatever.
Right.
The origins of the SAS.
Yeah,
those guys are total fuck ups, and they're like,
but you could go back.
All those teams that were incredibly productive during the wartime were some of the best teams of very productive people were fuck ups that didn't fit in the military, right? Like SEALs have those groups, special forces groups, they're notorious for freaking not being good at customs courtesies, not being good at standard operations. They're like equal on all levels of each team member kind of thing. Right. Those are all teams of very effective, but not military standard personnel.
No. Sure. Yeah.
That makes for a good research item, and maybe we could bring like the best outcast military leader. Because look at Grant from the Civil War.
Yeah,
he was written off as a drunk, right? Came back and won the war for the North.
Yep.
Billy Mitchell
is a good example. Billy Mitchell.
Billy Mitchell's freaking actively court-martialed, kicked out, and then they're like, hey, we fucked up. You mind coming back?
Can you do this for us for just a little bit?
Yeah.
We're not going to keep you around afterwards, but just come on.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like, that's the thing.
That would be a good one. Man.
The military is always like, think outside the box, act outside the box. But as soon as they do, they're kicked out.
They slam
instantly or slammed.
Yeah.
But then when they need you in those times of war, in those times where inside the box thinking does not work.
Dude, it's French Foreign Legion. Perfect example of nothing but Legion. When it first came to
they're all
nothing
just outcasts.
In fact, you used to get sentenced to the French
Foreign Legion. Go to the French Foreign Legion. Yeah.
You're like, fuck.
Crazy.
When the
But we're the only
Marine
ones fighting.
Corps isn't bad enough punishment,
Right.
go to the
Sure.
French World Legion.
Yeah, right. You either go to war or go to jail. It's like the old Jody. They used to say.
Yeah.
Some of those guys saved our ass. So
Yep.
that'd be good. That'd be a good, interesting.
We'd
thing.
have to do that.
Oh, and for the record, Blue Origin only pulls about 5.5 G's,
Oh, is that
which
it?
is a roller coaster, like a good roller coaster.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I'll be damned. I would have thought it'd been more than that.
Yeah,
Well,
I wanted it to be more than that.
Is good plastic surgery G rated?
Oh,
Maybe it
man.
should be now. Maybe it should be. Yeah.
I was looking up before and after pictures of Lauren Sanchez because I was remembering, like, oh, Bezos' girlfriend was quite an attractive lady. And then you showed that picture. I was like, her face looks plastic. And then there's quite a kerfuffle on the internet of before and after.
Oh, is it really?
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. She was very, very attractive before.
But she
And now I'm sure she's very attractive to some.
I don't know. You know, if you had some surgery that would make you better, or that you think would make you better, and money was no object, and you'd be like, "Yeah, sure, I'll go do it. Yeah, why not? Let's go." And then you come out and you're like, "Oh shit, that didn't go quite like I wanted it to." But it was free. Who gives a shit?
Swelling, right? Or is this the new me? Unfortunately, that's the new you. Look how youthful you look.
You're beautiful.
This is the best this is ever going to look because it's all downhill from here. So
this is what you have right here.
Yeah,
exactly.
I know.
Exactly.
I know. That's kind of weird. Before we end up, since we're talking about a million different things, what do you think of the Gene Hackman death?
Oh man, that's too bad.
No, I agree. But
You're talking about, was it suspicious? Was
all
it
the
murder?
stuff around it?
Oh,
I've heard a lot of conspiracy theories.
Man, it's crazy.
Well, I know they all died at once, right? Like,
the dog, his wife, and him.
But only like one of the 3 dogs. They say his wife was dead for a long time before that.
Oh,
yeah.
I hadn't heard that.
Okay, we won't go into it. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Wow.
If you listen to all this stuff, yeah,
pulling Gene out, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
The dude was 94 years old, man.
When you start going through his movies, you're like, oh fuck yeah, he was in Young Frankenstein, and you go, oh
Hunt for Red
yeah,
October.
Hunt for Red October,
Yeah.
Unforgiven, right? Of course.
No, it wasn't Hunt. It was not the Hunt for Red October.
No,
Oh,
it was
naming
Crimson
shit
Tide.
off.
Crimson Tide. You're right.
Crimson Tide.
Crimson Tide, right.
Yeah. Yeah. Stripes. He was in Stripes. Also.
God damn it, Jake.
Okay, Jake.
That's ended.
Arkansas Burning. Arkansas Burning. He's in there.
The dude was 94 years old, though. Have they determined what his reason for
it's
death?
all under controversy, man. They haven't said a thing. That's the whole thing. They haven't said
It was weird that it was him and his wife and a dog.
And a dog.
Ooh, I wonder if this was like a carbon monoxide.
That's what everybody thinks.
Crazy
first,
stuff,
right?
like that.
And then there's something about his wife being mummified. And you're like, what is going on? And you're like, oh my God. So
that's crazy.
No,
I hope not. I mean, I like the dude. I mean, I liked his movies.
Yeah.
You know,
great actor, man.
Yeah, I really hope that's not it. But God knows.
Yep. He was great in Green Beret. Awesome in that one.
He was in the one that the guys crashed in Suburbia or freaking Serbia and
Behind Enemy Lines.
behind enemy lines.
Yeah,
Owen Wilson.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. He was the admiral there. He was a good admiral.
Get our boy. Let's go get our boy.
Right.
Flight of the Intruder. In that one too.
Was he?
No, he was not in Flight of the
No, he's not.
God damn it.
I
This
keep
is all-
going. Oh,
This is all misinformation.
That's not bad though. I think I thought of a new bit. So let's close this out. On behalf of all of us here, I'd like to thank you for listening today. I don't know what the hell else. Please like, share, subscribe, and let us know how we did in the comments. And make sure next week that you are not late for changeover.
Oh, that was a good time.
Yeah, man. Thanks for the week. Thanks to everyone listening and watching, and we'll see you next week.